Introduction. What is divine energy? What if I told you that the universe didn't just create you, it created through you? That you are not just a human being walking through life. You are a vessel of divine energy. You are more than skin, bones, and emotions. Deep within you, there is a light, a presence, a frequency that connects you directly to the source of all creation. That is divine energy. And if you've ever felt different, deeply sensitive, or unusually guided in life, you might be carrying more of it than you know. Divine energy isn't reserved for saints, sages, or spiritual teachers. It lives inside everyday people who choose to walk in truth, people who feel the pull to rise above fear, negativity, and the noise of the world, people who choose love over ego, faith over fear, light over darkness. If that sounds like you, you're not just kind or deep. You're spiritually awake. You're vibrating at a higher frequency. You're tapped into something greater. Now, let's be honest. The world doesn't always make space for divine energy. In fact, when you carry divine energy, you often feel misunderstood, too emotional, too intense, too quiet, too different. But you are not too much. You are exactly what the world needs. You are here to heal, to lead, to awaken others by simply being yourself. Divine energy shows up in subtle but powerful ways. It's in the way your heart aches for the pain of others. It's in the way you feel peace in nature and chaos in crowds. It's in the way you can't lie to yourself anymore, even when it would be easier. Divine energy doesn't let you sleep through life. It constantly calls you higher. It demands growth. It challenges you to evolve. And here's the most beautiful part. Divine energy cannot be taken from you. It can be ignored. It can be buried under fear, trauma, or conditioning, but it never leaves. It waits. It whispers. And when why are ready, it awakens. And when it does, everything begins to shift. You start attracting new people, new paths, new opportunities that align with your soul. You start letting go of things that once drained you. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop surviving and start living with purpose. So today, we begin a journey, not just of identifying divine energy, but of honoring it. Because the truth is, you've always had it. Maybe you just didn't have the words for it. Maybe you've been hiding it, doubting it, or silencing it. But after today, that ends. You're going to see yourself clearly, and you're going to walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are divinely powered. Let's unlock the signs that prove this sacred energy is already within you. You feel deeply beyond logic. One of the first and most undeniable signs of divine energy is this. You feel everything deeply, sometimes more than you can explain, and often more than those around you seem to understand. You don't just process life through the mind, you absorb it with your soul. Every emotion, every word, every energy in the room, it touches you on a level that most people can't comprehend. And maybe you've been told that you're too sensitive, that you overthink, that you care too much, that you need to toughen up or stop being so emotional. But let me tell you something that the world rarely admits. Feeling deeply is not a weakness. It is evidence of your divine wiring. You are not broken. You are awake. When you carry divine energy, you begin to tune into the frequencies others miss. You walk into a room and sense tension before anyone says a word. You can feel when someone is hurting, even behind a smile. You're not just listening with your ears, you're listening with your energy. That level of sensitivity is a gift. It means you're aligned with something greater than logic. You're in touch with the spiritual dimension of life. But let's be honest, this gift can feel heavy. When the world is full of pain, your heart aches more than most. When others move on quickly, you still carry the energy of a moment. You remember how people made you feel far more than what they said. You cry at beauty. You feel joy for strangers. You break when others break. That's not weakness, that's spiritual depth. You were born with the capacity to feel because you are meant to heal. Divine energy flows through empathy, through compassion, through connection. And if you feel deeply, it's because your soul came here to do more than survive. It came here to love, to lift, to understand, and to awaken. Feeling deeply also means you often sense things before they happen. You get emotional over something you can't logically explain. only to find out later your intuition was right. That's not coincidence, that's divine guidance. That's a soul connected to something far beyond the surface. So if you're someone who feels everything, don't shrink, don't numb yourself just to fit in. The world doesn't need more cold hearts, it needs your warmth, your depth, your sensitivity, because that's what heals, that's what connects, that's what awakens people. Divine energy shows up in hearts that refuse to go numb in a world that keeps pushing them to disconnect. If you're still feeling deeply, despite everything you've been through, then know this: you are divinely protected, guided, and chosen. Your emotions are not a burden, they are sacred, and they are proof that you are carrying divine energy within you. You're drawn to solitude. One of the most powerful signs that divine energy lives within you is your natural pull towards solitude. Not isolation, not loneliness, but a sacred stillness where your spirit feels most alive. While the world celebrates noise, popularity, and constant motion, you crave moments of quiet, you crave peace, you crave space where your soul can breathe. And maybe you've questioned yourself for that. Maybe you've wondered, why don't I enjoy the same things others do? Why do crowds exhaust me? Why do I feel more energized when I'm alone with my thoughts than surrounded by people? But the truth is, when you carry divine energy, solitude becomes your sanctuary. It's not because you're antisocial, it's because you're spiritually sensitive. In solitude, your divine energy has room to speak. You reconnect with your inner voice. You feel the whisper of your intuition. You hear the guidance that gets drowned out in the chaos of everyday life. When you're alone, you're not really alone. You're in communion with something greater. You're listening to the universe. You're listening to you. People with divine energy often go through periods of what the world calls disconnection, but it's actually sacred retreat. It's your soul realigning. It's you coming back to center. It's you tuning out the noise so you can remember your purpose. Because the truth is, divine energy needs protection. It doesn't thrive in toxic environments. It doesn't survive in constant noise. It blooms in silence, in stillness, in sacred pause. During these moments, you may find yourself meditating more, journaling, walking in nature, or simply sitting in the quiet. No distractions, no scrolling, no pressure to be on. And while the world may not understand it, those who are spiritually awake will recognize what's really happening. You're charging your soul. You might also notice that nang around too many people drains you. It's not that you dislike others, it's just that you absorb energy. Divine beings often act like emotional sponges, feeling everything and everyone all at once. That's why solitude is not just peace, it's protection. It's the space where you cleanse, reset, and rise again. Solitude also gives you strength. While others depend on external validation, you learn to find your worth in silence. You learn to trust your own company. You become your own source of peace. And that right there is one of the highest frequencies of divine energy, inner wholeness. So if you find yourself craving more alone time, don't fight it. Don't judge it. Honor it. Because in that stillness, you're not escaping the world. You're aligning with your true nature. You're hearing what can't be heard in the noise. You're remembering who you are. Divine energy doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you're being called to solitude, it means your soul is ready to listen. You see the bigger picture. Another powerful sign that you carry divine energy is your ability to see beyond the moment, to look past temporary setbacks, daily frustrations, and surface-level situations, and instead recognize the deeper meaning behind everything. Where most people see problems, you see patterns. Where others see chaos, you see divine timing. Where they ask, "Why is this happening to me?" you quietly understand, this is happening for me. You don't get stuck in the drama. You don't allow setbacks to break you. That's because your soul operates on a higher frequency. Divine energy opens your spiritual eyes. You don't just react to life, you read it. You read the signs. You observe the synchronicities. You know that nothing is random. Every moment is part of a greater divine design, even the painful ones. And here's the beautiful part. This perspective doesn't come from just thinking positively. It comes from a deep-rooted knowing that life is always working for your evolution. Even when doors close, even when people walk away, even when the road gets rough, you don't collapse because your soul knows there's a bigger picture unfolding. And your divine energy is what keeps you steady when everything else feels uncertain. You've probably had moments in your life when things didn't make sense, times when you felt broken, confused, or lost. But looking back now, you realize those were the very moments that shaped you. They didn't destroy you, they revealed you. That's the wisdom of divine energy. It doesn't just survive the fire, it learns from it. It rises from it. People around you may ask, how do you stay so calm? Why don't you panic when things go wrong? And it's not because life is easier for you. It's because your soul sees purpose in the pain. You've trained yourself to zoom out, to look at life from a divine perspective, not just a human one. You see life as a journey of growth, not a series of random struggles. This ability also gives you a deep sense of trust in yourself, in timing, and in the universe. While others chase, you attract. While others force, you flow. While others resist, you surrender. Because you've learned that alignment is more powerful than control. And when you're aligned with divine energy, you know you don't have to manipulate outcomes. You just have to walk in truth, and what's meant for you will find you. You don't need to convince people of your path. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. That's because divine energy gives you clarity. You're not here to live a normal life. You're here to live a purposeful one. And when you can see the bigger picture, you stop being distracted by the small things. So, if you're the kind of person who sees meaning in the mess, lessons in the loss, and purpose in the process, know this: you are carrying divine energy. And that vision is what will carry you to your destiny. You're highly intuitive. Have you ever had a gut feeling that turned out to be completely accurate, even when there was no logical reason to believe it? Have you ever known something without knowing how you knew it? If so, that's not just instinct or coincidence, that's intuition. And it's one of the most powerful signs that you carry divine energy within you. Intuition is the voice of the soul. It doesn't shout, it doesn't argue. It nudges, it whispers, it tugs at your spirit when something isn't right. It warms your chest when you're on the right path. And when you carry divine energy, your intuition becomes louder, clearer, and more consistent over time. It's like you're tuned into a higher frequency that most people haven't discovered yet. Divine energy sharpens your spiritual senses. While others rely only on logic and facts, you see and sense what lies beneath the surface. You can walk into a room and instantly feel whether the energy is heavy or light. You meet someone, and something in your spirit either opens or recoils, even before they've said a word. That's not judgment, that's divine discernment. Your intuition protects you. It warns you when something is off. It guides you toward people and opportunities that align with your purpose. And sometimes it reroutes you completely, even when you don't understand why. That canceled plan, that sudden urge to pause, that dream that felt too real to ignore, all of those are signs that your higher self, your divine energy, is steering you. And when you listen, life flows. When you ignore it, things tend to fall apart. Now here's the thing, intuition doesn't always make sense to the mind, and that's why people often dismiss it. But you've learned that just because something isn't logical doesn't mean it's wrong. You've come to trust your inner voice more than outside noise. That takes courage. That takes soul awareness. That takes divine energy. And the more you honor that inner voice, the stronger it becomes. You start making decisions with peace, not fear. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop needing external approval because you know the answers are already inside you. That's the shift from surviving to living divinely. Sometimes your intuition may even feel supernatural. You sense when someone is thinking about you. You dream about things before they happen. You feel connected to people or places you've never met in this lifetime. That's not your imagination. It's your energy tuning into the unseen world. Divine energy doesn't just walk through this life. It walks between realms. So if your inner knowing has saved you, led you, warned you, or awakened you, embrace it. You are not crazy. You are not overthinking. You are divinely gifted. The world may not always understand how you know what you know, but that's okay. You weren't sent here to follow. You were sent here to sense. And your intuition, that's your soul's GPS. Trust it. It's leading you exactly where you're meant to be. You attract broken souls. One of the most sacred, yet often emotionally challenging signs that you carry divine energy is this. You attract broken souls. People who are lost, wounded, confused, or searching for meaning are naturally drawn to you. Not because you have all the answers, but because your energy feels like home. Have you noticed how strangers open up to you easily? How people feel safe around you, even when they barely know you? They share their struggles, their trauma, their fears, things they've kept bottled up for years, and somehow they feel seen and understood in your presence. That's not an accident. That's not just being a good listener. That's divine energy flowing through you. Your aura holds a frequency of comfort and healing. You may not always realize it, but your presence alone helps people feel lighter. You radiate calmness, even when your own life feels chaotic. You hold space for others without judgment. And that's exactly why broken souls find you. They are drawn to your light, even if they don't know why. But here's the part many people don't talk about. This can be exhausting. Carrying divine energy often means you carry emotional weight that doesn't belong to you. You may feel emotionally drained after certain conversations or relationships. You may attract people who don't want to heal, but simply want to lean on you endlessly. This is why boundaries are so important. Divine energy is powerful, but it must be protected. Being a light in someone else's darkness is noble, but not at the cost of dimming your own flame. You're not here to fix everyone. You're not here to sacrifice your well-being for people who won't take accountability for their healing. You are here to inspire, not to carry. To reflect what's possible, not to be someone else's emotional crutch. Your role is not to rescue, but to remind. Remind people of their own worth. Remind them of the light they've forgotten. Your divine energy acts as a mirror. It reflects back the truth others can't yet see in themselves. And when they encounter your presence, something in them awakens, even if it takes time. You've probably noticed that even after someone leaves your life, they often come back months or years later saying, "You changed me. I didn't see it back then, but I do now." That's the power of your divine imprint. Your energy plants seeds, even if you never witness the bloom. So if you find yourself attracting people who are hurting, don't see it as a burden. See it as confirmation that your soul carries a divine assignment. But also remember this, you are not required to pour from an empty cup. Fill yourself first, protect your peace, and let your divine energy shine, not sink. Because the most healing thing you can do for others is to be fully whole yourself. You often feel misunderstood. One of the deepest signs that you carry divine energy is that you often feel misunderstood. Not just by strangers, but sometimes by the people closest to you. It's not because you're confusing or unclear. It's because your spirit operates on a frequency that many people simply aren't tuned into. You might have grown up feeling like the black sheep of your family. Maybe your thoughts, your emotions, or your visions for life always seem too deep, too different, or too intense for others to grasp. You speak with truth, but the world responds with silence or defensiveness. You express love, but others misinterpret it. You give from the soul, and yet people sometimes see you as too much or too idealistic. If that resonates with you, it's not a flaw. It's a sign that you are spiritually gifted. Divine energy doesn't always fit in. It doesn't follow trends or seek approval. It stands apart, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. When your spirit is tuned to divine frequencies, compassion, truth, intuition, purpose, you naturally feel out of place in environments built on ego, materialism, and fear. People who live on the surface level of life may not understand your depth. They may call your silence weird. They may call your honesty rude. They may call your boundaries cold. But what they don't realize is that you're just walking in your truth, and that truth often exposes what others aren't ready to face. This misunderstanding can feel lonely. It can make you question your own path. But here's what you must remember. You weren't born to be understood by everyone. You were born to illuminate something bigger. Your divine energy has a purpose, and often that purpose will make people uncomfortable. Not because you're wrong, but because you reflect a level of awareness they haven't reached yet. You remind people of the truths they're avoiding. You highlight the disconnection they feel within themselves. And sometimes, that reflection is too powerful for them to accept in the moment. But don't shrink to fit their comfort. Don't silence your soul to gain their approval. Divine energy doesn't beg to be accepted. It stands firmly in love and lets its presence do the speaking. The most important thing you can do is remain authentic. The right people, the ones who see you, who feel you, who understand your spirit, will be drawn to you without needing an explanation. They will speak your soul's language, they will honor your energy, and they will feel like home. So the next time you feel misunderstood, don't get discouraged. Take it as a reminder that you're vibrating higher than the world expects. You're not here to blend in, you're here to awaken, to uplift, and to walk a path that only those with divine eyes can see. You attract strangers who confide in you. Instantly, one of the clearest signs that you have divine energy is that strangers feel safe around you. And they don't just feel safe, they open up to you instantly. Without knowing your name, without knowing your past, people pour their hearts out to you like they've known you for years, and they walk away, feeling lighter, healed, and seen. This is not a coincidence, it's spiritual. Your energy carries a frequency that soothes the soul. When people stand in your presence, they sense something different. They may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. It's the calm in your voice, the warmth in your eyes, and the stillness in your presence. You don't just listen, you understand. You don't judge, you hold space. That's because divine energy carries compassion without conditions. You may have noticed that even people who seem guarded or emotionally unavailable suddenly soften around you. They share things they've never told anyone. They feel safe showing their vulnerability. They sense that you won't hurt them, manipulate them, or expose their pain. And they're right, you won't. This ability to attract confessions, emotions, and soul stories isn't about being a therapist or a counselor. It's about being chosen to be a light bearer in a dark world. Your presence alone is healing. Your energy invites truth, not through force, but through trust. But let me be honest, this gift can also be draining if you don't protect your energy. Because while people receive healing from you, they may not realize that they're pouring their pain into your spirit. And if you don't have boundaries, you'll begin to absorb more than your soul was meant to carry. So what do? You protect your light while still sharing it. You learn when to hold someone's heart and when to step back for your own peace. Divine energy isn't just about giving, it's also about knowing when to rest, recharge, and reconnect with your own source. Another reason people confide in you is because you carry wisdom that goes beyond your years. It's like your soul remembers things your mind never studied. You say the right words without planning them. You speak life over people without needing a script. You feel what others need, and you offer it with love. If this happens to you often, don't ignore it. Don't brush it off. You are a spiritual vessel. You're meant to be a safe place in a world full of chaos and noise. But always remember, your light is not meant to be dimmed by other people's darkness. Keep shining, but shine with discernment. You weren't just given this energy to listen, you were given it to lead. You constantly experience synchronicities and divine timing. If you're someone who frequently sees repeating numbers, runs into the right person at the right time, or thinks about someone, and they suddenly call you, that's not just chance. That's divine energy in motion. Synchronicities are not coincidences. They are spiritual confirmations, signals from the universe, from God, from your higher self, that you are aligned with a greater plan. When you carry divine energy, your life starts to move to a rhythm that others don't always understand. Doors open without force. Answers show up in moments of silence. Clarity comes not from logic, but from intuition. Have you ever had a situation where something you deeply needed appeared out of nowhere? Maybe a job opportunity came right as you were about to give up. Maybe a stranger said the exact words you needed to hear. Maybe you stumbled upon a book or a video that spoke directly to what you were going through. That's not just luck, that's divine timing. People with divine energy are guided differently. You're not chasing, you're attracting. You're not pushing, you're flowing. And when you're aligned, the universe begins to rearrange itself to support your journey. You're being led, nudged, and protected, even when you don't realize it. But here's the thing. Divine timing is not always comfortable. Sometimes it feels like delays, detours, or disappointments. But what feels like rejection is often redirection. What seems like a closed door is actually a form of protection. When you carry divine energy, Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. It's important to listen to these signs. When you ignore synchronicities, life gets louder. But when you pay attention, even the smallest nudges lead to miracles. That number you keep seeing, 111, 222, 4 from 44, it's not random. It's a message. It's a reminder that you are being watched over, guided, and spiritually supported. People with divine energy often live life on a different timeline. You may feel like you're always behind or always ahead, but you're not. You're right on time, just not on human time. You're on divine time, and divine time is always perfect. This gift also comes with a sense of inner knowing. Before something happens, your spirit senses it. Before the truth is revealed, your intuition has already whispered it. You live with a sacred sensitivity to life's patterns, and the more you trust it, the more powerful it becomes. So the next time life feels too aligned to be random, remember this: it's not a fluke, it's a sign that you're walking with a force greater than yourself, that your path is not just chosen, it's protected. You're not imagining the magic, you are the magic. Animals, children, and strangers are drawn to you. There's something unexplainable about your energy. You may not even notice it, but the world feels it. Animals relax around you. Children feel safe with you. Strangers open up to you within minutes of meeting you. This isn't random. It's a powerful sign of divine energy flowing through you. Let's start with animals. They don't respond to appearances or social status. They respond to frequency, to vibration, to pure intent. When a dog wags its tail and runs to you without hesitation, or a cat curls up beside you even though it's usually aloof, it's sensing your energy. Animals can feel when someone is peaceful, loving, or spiritually in tune. That connection is primal and energetic. If you often attract animals or find they trust you instantly, that's not just sweet, it's spiritual. You carry a vibration that is calm, grounded, and pure. The same is true with children. Children don't lie about how they feel. They're honest in the rawest way, and they can sense who's real and who isn't. If children come to you, smile at you, want to play with you, or seem comforted by your presence, it's because your spirit feels safe. You don't need to say the right words, your energy says it for you. Divine energy radiates comfort and authenticity. You don't even have to try, it's just who you are. And then there are strangers. Maybe it happens at the grocery store, in line at the bank, or while waiting for a coffee. Someone starts sharing their life story with you out of nowhere. They might say, "I don't even know why I'm telling you this," or "I've never said this to anyone before." But you know why. Your energy is welcoming. Your spirit is open, present, and healing. You may have healed yourself so deeply that others can feel it. Without realizing it, you become a mirror for others to see their truth. You hold space for them, even if just yours. For a moment. This attraction isn't about being extroverted or charismatic. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the most present. And divine energy doesn't shout, it whispers. But those who are lost, hurting, or searching always hear it. Now understand this. Being this kind of presence in the world is a responsibility. It means your energy is healing by nature, but it also means you must protect it. Not everyone who is drawn to you has good intentions. Some are simply attracted to your light because they're in the dark. Be discerning. Just because someone comes to you doesn't mean they deserve to stay. Divine energy must be guarded, not given away freely. So if animals trust you, children love you, and strangers confide in you, don't doubt yourself. That's your divine energy in action. That's your light doing what it was made to do: comfort, heal, and awaken. You are magnetic because your soul speaks before your mouth does. You're not interested in drama. You crave peace. When you carry divine energy, drama begins to repel you. The chaos, the gossip, the petty arguments, they all begin to feel like noise. You're no longer entertained by conflict or drawn into toxic cycles. Instead, what your soul starts craving is peace. Not silence, not boredom, but real, soul-nourishing peace. You begin to value your inner world more than outer validation. You no longer feel the need to prove your point in every argument or defend yourself against every misunderstanding. Why? Because divine energy whispers to you that not every battle is yours to fight. When your spirit evolves, you start choosing peace over power, clarity over being right, and solitude over shallow company. People may say you've changed, and they'd be right. You're no longer available for situations that drain your spirit. You're no longer giving energy to relationships that survive off emotional highs and lows. You're seeking balance, alignment, and authenticity, and that means walking away from anything that threatens your peace. It's not that you're cold or emotionless, it's the opposite. You feel so deeply that drama feels physically painful. The yelling, manipulation, dishonesty, it disrupts your frequency. Divine energy cannot survive in low vibrational environments, and so your soul starts to reject them instinctively. You find yourself leaving parties early, unfollowing toxic people, avoiding unnecessary debates, and setting clear emotional boundaries. Peace becomes your home, it becomes your standard. And once you taste that kind of emotional and spiritual stillness, you no longer allow just anyone access to your energy. This shift doesn't always make sense to others. People might accuse you of being distant, uncaring, or too sensitive, but that's because they don't realize you've graduated from drama, you've evolved, and growth can look like distance to those who are still addicted to chaos. Choosing peace is not weakness, it's power under control. It means you know you could respond with anger, but you choose calm. It means you could expose someone, but you choose silence. It means you could engage in the drama, but you choose to walk away. That is divine maturity. In a world addicted to conflict, peace is rebellion. When you operate from divine energy, peace becomes your protest. It's how you protect your frequency, your time, your heart. So if you're no longer drawn to chaos, if you found yourself craving quiet, turning inward, choosing peace over proving your point, that's not just maturity. That's spiritual alignment. That's your divine energy, elevating you above distractions that no longer deserve your attention. And remember this, your peace is sacred. Guard it fiercely. Not everyone deserves to sit at your table, especially if they bring nothing but drama to your doorstep. You've worked too hard to find your center. Don't lose it trying to pull others out of their storms. You're not avoiding life, you're elevating above the noise, and that's what divine energy looks like. You constantly seek truth, even when it's uncomfortable. When you carry divine energy, truth becomes your compass. You're no longer satisfied with surface-level explanations, watered-down answers, or convenient lies. You want the real, raw, unfiltered truth, even when it hurts, even when it disrupts your comfort zone, and even when it forces you to grow. You begin to realize that the truth isn't always easy, but it's always freeing. Divine energy awakens your spirit to seek alignment, not just with people, but with principles. It pushes you to question the narratives you've inherited, the beliefs you've never examined, and the habits you've normalized. It won't allow you to live blindly or pretend anymore. You feel the nudge to go deeper in every area of your life. In your relationships, you stop ignoring red flags. In your job, you begin to question if it's feeding your purpose or just paying your bills. In your personal growth, you stop making excuses and start facing the hidden wounds you've buried. You're no longer willing to lie to yourself to stay comfortable. And let's be honest, this kind of awakening can be lonely. Not everyone wants to confront the truth. Some people are perfectly content living in illusions, blaming others, and running from accountability. But when you carry divine energy, denial becomes suffocating. You crave clarity, you seek light, you hunger for what's real. You may even start to feel physically or emotionally drained by environments that are built on pretenses, whether it's fake friendships, manipulative leaders, or toxic family dynamics. Your spirit begins to resist all forms of dishonesty. You feel uneasy in places where people wear masks or speak half-truths. That unease, it's your divine energy speaking. The more truth you seek, the more powerful you become. Why? Because truth leads to freedom. It breaks generational cycles. It heals emotional wounds. It reveals your purpose. And it aligns your life with something bigger than just surviving. It aligns you with spiritual clarity. But understand this, truth will cost you. It will cost you your comfort, your illusions, maybe even some relationships. It will shake everything that was built on lies. But what you gain in return is inner liberation, the kind that no one can take from you. Divine energy is not about perfection. It's about honesty. It's about standing in the light, even when you're trembling. It's about saying, I don't know it all, but I'm willing to face what's real. If you've been seeking truth lately, if you've been shedding old beliefs, challenging toxic behaviors, or feeling called to speak your truth no matter who walks away, that's not a coincidence. That's a sign of divine power awakening inside you. Don't run from truth, run to it. Because every time you embrace it, you align more deeply with your purpose, your peace, and your divine identity. You radiate peace that calms others. There's a stillness about you, a quiet strength that doesn't demand attention but commands respect. When you walk into a room, you don't need to raise your voice to be heard. Your presence says enough. That's because divine energy radiates peace, and peace is magnetic. People may come to you not just for advice, but for your energy. They feel safe around you. They feel seen, heard, and accepted. You don't even have to say much. Just being near you calms their chaos. You might not even understand the full impact you have on others, because it's not something you do, it's something you carry. Peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of clarity and spiritual grounding in the middle of life's noise. And if you've reached a place in your life where things can fall apart around you, but your soul remains centered, that's divine. You see, divine energy doesn't make your life perfect. It makes your heart still when life is stormy. You've learned how to be calm in moments that used to break you. You've stopped reacting to every trigger, every insult, every little inconvenience. Not because you don't feel, but because you've learned the power of restraint. You've realized that peace is your true currency. There's something sacred about a soul that can walk through fire and not bring smoke into the room. That's you. And here's the truth, that kind of peace doesn't come easy. It's earned through trials, heartbreak, and deep soul work. You've had to heal wounds that no one saw. You've had to let go of control, release toxic attachments, and forgive people who never apologized. You've cried in silence and stood alone when it was easier to follow the crowd. That's how your peace was born. So don't be surprised when others lean on you. Don't be surprised when strangers open up to you. Your soul has become a sanctuary. You might not wear a title. You may not have a pulpit or a microphone, but your peace is a ministry. Your energy is a light, and your presence is proof that divine energy walks in human form. This is why you can't afford to lower your vibration. Protect your peace at all costs. Say no when something threatens your spirit. Walk away when something feels heavy. You don't need to explain your boundaries when your energy speaks for itself. When you radiate divine peace, you become a living invitation to healing. You show others what's possible. You remind them that calm is not a weakness, it's a superpower. So keep walking with that quiet power. Keep showing up with grace, because in a world that thrives on chaos, your peace is revolutionary. Divine energy attracts both light and darkness. Here's a truth most people don't talk about. When you carry divine energy, you become a magnet, not just for good things, but for everything. Light and darkness alike are drawn to you. Why? Because your soul shines bright in a world filled with shadows. And when light appears, it illuminates everything, both what's beautiful and what's broken. Your kindness, your purity of heart, your peace. It threatens those who have chosen to live in chaos. People may envy you. Some may misunderstand you. Others may try to dim your light or question your intentions. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your energy reveals what they're running from. Divine energy has a way of triggering unresolved pain in others. You may notice that people project their wounds onto you, lash out without reason, or even gossip about you behind your back. It's not because you're flawed. It's because your presence exposes what they refuse to face. But here's the divine truth. You're not here to shrink. You're here to stand tall, to be the mirror, and to let your light shine anyway. You may be the person who always gets chosen last, underestimated, or even attacked. But over time, those same people come back, not because they pity you, but because they realize you were the one carrying truth all along. Divine energy doesn't need a stage to be powerful. It works in silence, in shadows, in moments most people overlook. You don't need validation when you know who walks with you. And while the darkness may try to surround you, it cannot consume you. You've been through enough to know that every attack on your spirit is confirmation of your power. Every betrayal is a redirection. Every delay is divine protection. Because when you're truly connected to the source, nothing formed against you can truly prosper. This is also why you must protect your energy. You cannot let just anyone into your inner circle. You cannot explain your calling to people who aren't equipped to understand it. Divine energy requires discernment. Not everyone deserves access to your light. You are not obligated to save everyone. Not everyone wants healing. Some are simply drawn to your peace because it soothes their storm, but they will leave as soon as they feel exposed. That's not your fault. Let them go. Instead, focus on staying aligned. Focus on your purpose. Focus on the mission your spirit signed up for before you even got here. You were born with a frequency not meant to blend in, but to awaken. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to shine, to uplift, and to transform the world around you, even if it costs you comfort. So don't let the darkness scare you. It only shows up because your light is real. You're being prepared for something greater. When you carry divine energy, your life doesn't unfold like everyone else's. It often feels like you're walking through longer tunnels, climbing steeper hills, and facing storms others never even see. But that's because you're not being punished, you're being prepared. Divine energy comes with a divine calling. And before you can carry that calling fully, you must be refined. You're going through a process that strips you of what's false, a process that molds you into someone who can handle the weight of your mission. Think of it like a sword. Before it can be used for greatness, it must be forged in fire. That fire may look like loneliness. It may look like setbacks. It may feel like delay, rejection, or even betrayal. But here's the deeper truth. Everything that's been taken from you wasn't meant for where you're going. And everything you've lost is making space for something greater. If you've ever looked around and wondered, why me? The answer is simple. Because you're chosen. You've been entrusted with something sacred. And the road for the chosen is never easy. You don't grow divine strength in comfort. You grow it in silence, in wilderness seasons, in moments when no one sees you, but God does. So when the doors close, when people leave, when the noise gets loud and the path gets hard, don't collapse. Don't assume it's all falling apart. Sometimes things must fall apart so your real purpose can come together. And while others chase fast success, easy love, or shallow fame, you're being called to something deeper. You're not just here to succeed, you're here to serve. You're not just here to survive, you're here to transform. Your pain will become your wisdom. Your trials will become your testimony. This preparation season is sacred. You're shedding the old version of yourself. You're learning how to walk in peace, in obedience, faith, and surrender. And soon, very soon, the version of you that's been forged in fire will rise. Not to show off, not to prove anyone wrong, but to fulfill a higher purpose that only your soul understands. Divine energy doesn't just elevate you for your sake. It does so because someone else needs what you carry. Your healing will become someone else's breakthrough. Your strength will become someone else's encouragement, and your light will become someone else's guide through the dark. So, hold on, stay grounded, keep trusting even when you can't trace the outcome, because what's waiting for you on the other side of this preparation, it's bigger than what you prayed for, it's deeper than what you imagined, and it's more divine than you thought possible. You're not being delayed, you're being positioned. You're not behind, you're being built. And when the time comes, when everything you've walked through finally makes sense, you'll look back and realize you weren't just enduring life, you were being prepared to change it. If you've seen yourself in these signs, if something deep in your soul stirred with every word, know this: you're not just different, you're divine. You were never meant to fit into this world's boxes. You were meant to rise above them. You were never meant to walk the common path. You were meant to blaze your own. And everything you've faced, every heartbreak, every challenge, every silence has been shaping you into the person the world needs, not just the person it expects. Carrying divine energy is not about perfection. It's about purpose. It's about embracing the unique way your heart breaks, the powerful way your spirit sees through lies, the quiet strength you hold even when the world misunderstands you. You're a mirror to truth, a vessel of healing, a beacon of clarity in a noisy, confused world. Maybe you felt alone, misjudged, overlooked, but that's often the price of being chosen. The world rarely recognizes divinity when it's wrapped in humility. But the time is coming, your time is coming, when your light will be undeniable. When everything you thought was a setback will reveal itself as a setup. When every tear you cried in silence will water the seeds of your divine purpose. You are not here by accident. There's a higher rhythm guiding your steps, a greater plan unfolding in your life, even when you can't see it. And the more you align with your higher self, the more you listen to the whispers of your soul, the louder your impact will become. You don't need validation to know your worth. You don't need applause to keep going. Because divine energy doesn't seek attention, it creates transformation. So to you, the intuitive, the empathic, the wise soul who's been dimming your light just to make others comfortable, it's time to stop shrinking. It's time to own who you are. Step into your power with grace, with purpose, with boldness. The world doesn't need more distance. Always. It needs your depth. It doesn't need more followers. It needs more leaders, the kind who lead from the soul. You've been equipped. You've been anointed. You've been prepared. Now it's time to rise. You're not just here to exist. You're here to awaken. You're not just a light in the darkness. You are the dawn. Your divine energy is your birthright. Now walk like you believe it. Your story isn't over. It's just getting started. Don't wait for a sign. You are the sign.